Hello there. In this video I'm going to tell you all about our billet alloy warning light and switch range. Okay, let's take a look at them. This one is a horn button. It's got a black anodized aluminium bezel, a single pole contact block fitted, and it's a push button switch. And this one is a warning light, a seat belt warning light with a anodized natural aluminium bezel. No push button on this, it's just a light. Let's take a look at the components. This is a switch block, this one's a single pole. This is a threaded retaining ring that holds the switch body into the panel. There's your legend or push button. This is the upper bezel component and this is the lower bezel component, and there's a little rubber sealing washer there. So let's take a look at all the individual components one by one, starting with the main body, of which there are 3 versions. This first version here is purely for warning lights. It's got the bulb holder in here, 2 3mm spade terminals on the back, which you can solder wires to, or you can use 3mm female connectors. Now, because all the bulbs that fit in these are LED bulbs, it's important that you get the wiring the right way round. So the terminal that has this little spring clip next to it here, I'll show you what that's for later on. This terminal is the positive terminal, positive 12 volts. And on the other side, with a little rib running up and down the moulding, is the negative 12 volt terminal. This one is a momentary switch. Inside there is the bulb holder, and again 2 terminals on the back. Now, momentary switch, if I press this little moving component here, it goes in, and there's a little plunger on the back. Every time you push that in, it moves the plunger, which operates the contact block. And this one is a latching switch body. Again, terminals. And if I press this moving part inside the bulb holder, press it once, it latches. Press it again, it releases. Press to latch, press to release. So I'm doing this with a screwdriver, but this will have the push button legend on it. Okay, let's move on to the illumination. These are the little LED bulbs that fit into all the warning lights and switch bodies. They're available in 5 colours: amber, green, red, blue and white. And sometimes they're supplied to us with identification on the bulb, like the green one, the red, and the yellow there has got a stripe. But sometimes there's no identification, so what you need to do is just check it with 12 volts to find out you've got the correct colour. So here we are. I've connected the black crocodile clip to the negative terminal of the battery and the red croc clip to positive terminal of the battery, and I'm just going to touch the red on the single pole contact on the end of the bulb, and there you go, it's a blue bulb. And here's a white one. Now the bulbs are just a push fit into the bulb holder in all of the bodies, so I'm just going to put this one in and give it a push with my finger, and you can feel it just clicks into place. And to remove it, just use a good quality pair of tweezers or needle nose pliers and give it a wiggle, and out it comes. And here are just a few of the legends that are available for this range of switches. They come in black and in natural and silver. and they all fit the warning lights and the switches. Here's a washer one, and here you can see there's a little groove in the legend body. This locates in a little raised ridge inside the switch or warning light housing, and you can just gently put the legend in and rotate it until you can feel it drop into the location. Give it a push and it snaps into place. And this ensures that all the legends stay in the same orientation on each switch and warning light, so they all line up. Now the next part is the bezel, which is actually in two parts. It can either be natural like this one or the black anodized version. You can see there's a little gasket, little rubber gasket on there that separates the two halves. Now you have two options here. This can be mounted on the warning light or switch as it is, together, and you can put this through a 16mm hole in your dash or your panel, and you can push on the retaining ring, so you can see that the whole bezel sits about 10mm above the surface. Or you have another mounting option. You can remove the lower half of the bezel and you can drop the top half through a 22mm hole in your dash or panel. You can put the lower half of the bezel on the inside, and again your retaining ring. And here you can see that the bezel sits just a couple of millimeters above the surface of your dash. So there's two mounting options there. And finally we move on to the contact blocks. There are two available, this one single pole version and this double pole version. Now these are not switches, they're just contact blocks, and they're operated with this little plunger here on the top. And this little plunger on the contact block is operated by, in turn, the plunger on the switch body. You can see here this is a momentary switch, so it's just operating that plunger on a momentary basis, push it and release it. And if I fit this contact block onto this switch body, you'll see that there's a little groove here in the contact block and a raised ridge on the switch body. They fit together, so you get it round the right way. This little sprung piece on the switch body pushes through the contact block, and if you push it hard enough, it will click into place and lock together there. So now when I push the button on the momentary switch, it's making the contacts in the contact block. Usually pin number 1 is 12 volts in. Pin number 2 is your accessory, 12 volts out. When you push the button, number 2 becomes live. And if I turn it over, there are the two terminals for the illumination. There and there, the silver ones. Same thing applies to the double pole contact block. To release the contact block from the switch, you just need to push in the little retaining tag while separating the two components. And there you go. You can find much more information, including wiring diagrams, in our catalogue and on the online listings. Cheers for now.